Week 3 update. I'm going to do this really fast because I lost all of yesterday and I'm here losing today as well because it's almost 1 o'clock and I cannot tell you how many videos I've made that I've had to scrap. So it looks like I'll be doing 6 days of work on the actual work, and then the 7th day will be trying to make an update. Unless I can get my act together, I had everything laid out so that I could easily tell you everything I wanted to tell you, but it keeps turning out too long. So let's just wrap this up. Week 3 was about recovering a sense of power. She said that we would feel a sharp, an unaccustomed burst of energy, which ended up being true. All of the inner changes, that the subtle and not so subtle shifts that I've been finding happening, the wonderful things like, going to bed early, getting up early, looking forward to getting up, getting a good night's sleep, sleeping through the night, looking forward to doing my morning ritual, doing my morning pages and all the required stuff without fail. Maintaining the YouTube uploads, and for those that, which is probably everybody, don't know my purpose for doing this, I started it as a way of surrendering to the universe after beating my head against a wall for too long trying to find a way out of an impossible situation. And you can get more of an idea of what that is from looking at the videos on my GoFundMe, which are there because I had to get them onto GoFundMe. This has nothing to do with that, but I mention that because that explains a lot, which I won't have to go into on here. But I'm trying to get myself from, I started before I started with the video marking square one, me, without any, filters. This is how I am. This is how I am right now. I'm practically living homeless, but still in the house, but not for very long. And a whole month has gone now, because although I'm on week 3, I spent 2 weeks on the first one, being that it was interrupted by my being really sick with a stomach virus. And I'm still not done with that. I'm getting the scopes this Wednesday. So that is going to be part of week 4. I'm going to try my best not to let that interfere too much. My mom's going to be here with me on that day and the day after. It's going to be really hard to do my morning ritual with her here. So I'll probably miss 2 days of morning ritual, because when she's here, I cannot do anything. Like, here's the love seat, because that's all that fits in my apartment. And she's right here next to me. So I can't be sitting here doing my morning pages, besides the fact that I'm over here used to getting up early now, and she'll get up like before dawn and transfer herself from the bed in the bedroom to my love seat and sprawl herself out on it, all 4'8" of her. And I get up and there's nowhere for me to sit. So I have to go back to bed. So I can't even do my morning thing. And I have to wait till she's finished sleeping on my love seat so that I can have some place to be. Because this is the only place for me to be in the apartment, other than the deck, which I can't be out on the deck that early because the sun is blaring at that time. I mean, either it's dark or like the sun came up and it's blaring. So it's just the whiteness of the paper. It's blinding to me. I start seeing like all these spots in front of my eyes. I lose the ability to see certain colors for a long time when I come inside. So it's going to be quite, a feat to see how I'll do week 4, which is recovering a sense of integrity. That's going to be interesting. But week 3 was, yeah, this sudden burst of energy, and I did so much decluttering. I shred 2 large bags of papers that needed to be shred and got them out. I did 4 huge loads of laundry with the help of my uncle, who offered to drive me to the laundromat, because since I don't have a car anymore since the beginning of January and I'm stranded, and I have to rely on help from 3 people who are also very busy with their own things. So, and my toe is on week 7 of still healing. It's not healed yet. I can't bend it yet, so I'll need to go back to the podiatrist for that. But it's not hurting so much, you know. I just don't want to do more damage on it. I still have to tape it up, and I can't do like long walks, because if I do a long walk I have to wear the boot, and that boot is so uncomfortable, especially if I have to put my other boot to make my hips level, and oh my god, then I'm hurting all over. So I have to, it has to be nice out. I have to wear my Crocs, because that's the only thing that my foot will fit into while it's taped up. And that's going to be fun on Wednesday, because it's supposed to be pouring rain, and I need to go get scoped at the, you know, endoscopy, colonoscopy center. And I don't know how I will get there, because I can neither wear my boot nor my Crocs, because they have holes all in them, and I maybe I could squeeze my foot into the sneakers. So let's see. So I got a little bit off track there, because I'm already kind of freaking out, but not like I would be if I wasn't doing this. I would be a mess right now if I hadn't been doing this for the last 28 days and actually feeling a sense of calm and being able to breathe deeply, and going through whole days where I don't stress out over something. And also, what I noticed this week started happening is I started to be able to catch myself when I start to dwell on something that is useless to keep spinning over in my head again. And I catch myself, and I don't try to squash it. I tell myself, okay, you know, valid concern, and we are working on finding a resolution. And so let us operate our ability to choose, and choose to focus on the possibilities and what's good. And or I bring my focus to what it is I'm doing at the time, and try to be present with that. So I've gotten, you know, I'm really happy that I've been able to do that. I've been able to, in looking for something that I've been dealing with forever, I uncovered something that is actually something that I've been putting other people through, which was mortifying, hearing them talk about it in a subreddit. And like, it really hit me, and I took it in, and it made me commit myself to not doing that anymore, like to making a point of catching myself and not doing that anymore. So that's good, and I'm grateful for that. It said you will also experience peaks of anger, joy, and grief. I did have, like, I don't remember if it was last week or this week, but I think it was this week. Something hit me, and yes, the grief. It was just out of the blue. While I was doing my morning pages, I was talking about something, and it brought back the way I was in the last years that my father was with us, and that I should have spent way much more time with him in the time that I had. But instead, I went and drowned my sorrows and tried to numb out. And, you know, in my defense, I did try in the beginning. I tried my best. And I visited him every lunchtime in the hospital. Like, I'd take the train all the way from Manhattan into Queens to visit where he was at the time, or from Manhattan, you know, one part of Manhattan to another where he was at the other time, and sit with him for my lunch hour. But before he ended up, you know, cooped up in the hospital, while he was still home, I should have been watching TV with him. I should have been just being near him more. I should have been, you know, being there with him. And that hit me so hard. And it made me so, like, it gave me such a sense of grief. And I wish I could do it over, because I don't wish for him to go through that again. But I wish to know that he knows that he was always my hero, that I loved him and love him more than anyone, and always will, and that I never even wanted to see him stub a toe. That's why it was so hard for me to see him like that. And that really hit me hard. It hit me so hard. I can't even talk about it right now. Like, all these years later, he died in the mid-90s. And here we are in 2025. And that never hit me until the other day. So, yeah, it's wild how these things can lay dormant and suddenly come up all those years later. So it says, you are coming into your power as the illusory hold of your previously accepted limits is shaken. I feel that, you know, subtly, I feel that, but I feel it taking a momentum. And as I said, I feel it spilling over into my outward life now. I don't know whether I did mention all the decluttering and cleaning. Did I mention all the cleaning I did? The laundry. I did a lot in the house this week. One, because I've been meaning to do it. Two, because I finally felt spurred to. Three, because I had to do some cleaning, although I didn't have to go that wild with it, because my mom's coming to stay with me for this procedure I'm having on Wednesday, which is a routine procedure for most people. But since I've been going through this GI thing for, like, it's not a thing right now. I'm okay right now, but they still need to find out what's going on. I've never had that other scope. I've had an endoscopy in 2013. I'm definitely due for another one. The GI problems outside of the going through cancer from 2023 to 2024 have been the thing that have been the biggest stopper of my living a normal life in my life. And there's an aspect of it that makes it so that it's impossible for me to know when it's going to hit. And I'm so glad to talk to others who experience the same thing. So I know it's not just me, because people who don't have it think I'm lying. They think I'm exaggerating and making it up. But when I talk to people who have the same thing and they describe the very same thing that happens to me, and how they can't also, they like, you know, they have the ability to work from home, thank goodness, but it's really hard for them to go out anymore and do things because they never know when it's going to hit. And I've been living with that for a while. So, yeah, it's been the biggest stopper. So, if this whole thing, going through the gastrointestinal virus, having colitis for like 2 weeks, like being severely inflamed, having to do this thing finally, which I've had to do for years, but had to keep canceling because things kept coming up that had to do with my mom. So I had to keep canceling my thing to take care of her. It was just like so weird how it kept happening every single time. This year I had it scheduled for February 5th. I was supposed to go. That was going to be routine. Routine, but still try to figure out what was wrong with me. But I had to cancel because I didn't have a ride. I couldn't find anyone to take me. So here we are where it's urgent and I need to go. So I feel like it's the universe having come running to my assistance from the moment I began this program, saying, let's handle your biggest issue first. Let's get that out of the way. And making it so that there was no ifs, ands, or buts. I had to take care of this. So we're going to find out. Hopefully, we're going to find out. And I'm so nervous, even though not as nervous as I would have been. I would have been completely useless, not even able to do things this close to the day. And knowing that I have to prep for it, like, I'm nowhere near as agitated as I could have been, as I would have been normally if I hadn't been doing all this work. So this stuff definitely works if you do it intentionally and throw yourself into it with purpose, and put the practices to work. And there's so many that spill over into the next week. Like, she's like, there are things like the morning pages, the affirmations, the basic principles, and the artist state. They're all part of the weekly thing throughout. But there's other things she throws at you along the way, and she's like, continue this through the rest of the thing. So I've got like 3 pages of notes of the stuff that is, mandatory, plus the stuff that I didn't do and want to do, which is very little, because I've been doing almost all of the tasks at the end of each chapter. But some of them have multiple parts to them, so I haven't been doing them the full way through, and I want to. So I jotted them down. And then there's the stuff she's like, be kind to, do something kind for yourself every day. Be on the alert for encouragement. Practice saying yes to encouragement and support. Like, to make these things a practice going forward. And it's so much. It's just so much. So it's a bit overwhelming, especially since I'm trying to add the decluttering book into it, which is a space clearing book. So it's like mindful decluttering. And it will go beautifully hand in hand with this. And the creative visualization, which will also go beautifully hand in hand with this. Creative visualization I've read through before several times. I haven't really done all of the exercises, but when I did them, they would work. It's been a long time. I was a lot more optimistic back then. I was a lot younger. I was a lot more social. I was a lot more mobile. I lived in Brooklyn and I could easily get around. I was used to walking places. I had the bus nearby. It was across the street from my house. The train wasn't far away. I had the choice of 3 train stations. I could easily get into the city or to Queens. 4 train stations, rather. Life was just so much easier. Now I'm stranded. So, and I need to find a way. And where there's a will, there's a way. So we're recovering that sense of power, and then we're going to be recovering a sense of integrity. Did I tell you I watched the Joker Part 2? I did like 4 videos and scrapped them, so I don't remember which I said what in. That was my artist date. I treated myself to that. I had credits on Amazon, so it really was nothing. And I really wanted to see that for so long. And I finally got to see it. So I was very happy that I did that for myself. It was a fun artist date. My inner child was happy about it. I was riveted to it. But I will say that it ruined Joker for me. If you are like me and you really enjoyed the first one so much, because there were so many levels and layers to it and so much to ponder over, and it left you with more questions than answers, and it was really, really absorbing, and you watched it multiple times, that's how much you loved it. I would say just don't watch the second one. Leave yourself with the ability to rewatch the first one whenever you want, because when you watch the second one, you'll probably lose the ability to watch the first one ever again. The second one was nowhere in the same league as the first one. And the ending was, if you haven't seen it, you're better off not seeing it. There's nothing you absolutely need to know that you didn't have at least an inkling of in the first one. And really, there's nothing more you need to know. It was riveting, but Todd, what's his name? Isn't it Todd Phillips? What's his name? I don't know what he was thinking, except for let's get this over with. Just don't. So, I'm glad I watched it. I don't know why. I know why, because I would have wanted, it would have been on my mind and on my mind. I want to see this. I want to see this. I watched it. So, it was a good artist date. We were supposed to be aware of synchronicity, and I live off of synchronicity and serendipity, so I'm hyper aware of synchronicity as it is. But yes, I've been having major synchronicities since the beginning of this, since I thought about starting this, especially doing it openly. Major. The universe keeps telling me, you're on the right track. Do it, keep going. You're on the right track. If anyone tries to dissuade you, don't even let them. You are on the right track. If it seems like it's going nowhere, don't worry about it. Just keep going. You're on the right track. So, and I keep getting more of that. So, yeah, I had major synchronicities. I like that the focus of this whole thing was be open to the possibility of an intelligent and responsive universe, acting and reacting in our interests. And she says it is my experience that in this case, I have learned as a rule of thumb never to ask whether you can do something. Say instead that you are doing it. Then fasten your seatbelts because the most remarkable things follow. So I've been trying to make failure not an option. I keep trying to catch myself. And where I find it to be the most difficult is where I have to do updates to my GoFundMe, because I have to be able to bring people up to speed on where I am and my needs. But I end up feeling so, I go back into the hopelessness because everything seems so impossible without major help from outside, without a miracle. So then I come here and I'm immersed in this, and I'm like, failure is not an option. I catch myself whenever I start to spiral. And then with the realization I had this week with the thread I was reading off of Reddit, where I saw myself mirrored back to me, and I vowed to myself never to put people through that again. I need to be aware of, find a way to objectively report my situation, even this, because this is my way of surrendering to the universe and going from, square one and getting back up on my feet and being self-sustainable and being some sort of inspiration to anyone else out there who may be watching this. Maybe not now, but maybe I'll get myself to a point where I've made it so well that people will be interested in looking back, and then they'll be able to see how I went from this, the having nothing, just using my crappy old phone, and it's probably going to tell me it's running out of battery soon, so I better wrap this up, to there where I will be celebrating my rise up. So hopefully I can be of service to people. There's much more that I want to talk about, but I'm going to have to, I'll just say I did everything I was supposed to do. The things that I didn't get to do, which were minor, I'm putting them on to next week. Next week is recovering a sense of integrity. This week, actually, I'm supposed to start that today, but there's so much I need to do, and the whole morning passed. And I need to upload this. So, yeah, let me just stop right now. We're at 30 minutes. I don't know how to do 10, 15 minutes. I have no idea how people tell their life story within 10 to 15 minutes. But yeah, I'm going to learn. I'm going to figure it out. There's so much meat to this that there's so much I want to tell you. I don't see the point in just describing, oh yeah, I did all the exercises, I did all the tasks, good for me, yay. I wanted to talk about them. I wanted to go through details, but it takes too long. So, am I yelling? I don't even know. That's it. I have to stop now. 30 minutes.